Hey, welcome to Three Count Commentary. So let's talk about Ring of Honor TV from May the 10th, 2021. Ian Riccaboni takes over as the broadcast announcer because Quinn McKay is in the main event. But that's not really the main event. We're going to talk about that match first. So it's Quinn McKay versus Angelina Love. So this match was actually not bad. So Angelina Love in her early promo, her pre-match promo, said that there are always people with problems, but she never expected that the backstage interviewer would be the one with the problem. Because she's a 20-year vet. You know, she's been around. She's been bringing prestige to the division. And that Quinn McKay isn't a wrestler. She's a backstage interviewer. And now she's gotten entitled and standing up for a challenge. And she's going to teach Quinn McKay a lesson. This was a solid promo, but it was kind of, it was all over the place. So Quinn McKay's promo, though, was actually very good. So Quinn McKay was like, look, I didn't expect to have this opportunity. Wrestling wasn't my first love. My first love was roller derby, and I did roller derby for 8 years before I even stepped in a wrestling ring. And then she said she began as an independent wrestler before she was invited to the ROH dojo 3 years ago. And that, she's found a fruitful and satisfying career as a broadcast announcer. And she loves telling stories, and she loves giving people the opportunity to tell their stories. I said that Angelina Love should be on the Mount Rushmore of the women's revolution, but she doesn't really deserve it because she sows division and she's insecure. And if the division is going to flourish, Angelina Love, the Hydra, needs to be cut out of it. And then she starts talking about, like, what if I lose? What if I fail? What all of my hard work? What would have I gained if I lost? Do I continue to wrestle? I don't know what I would do next. I don't know if it'd be worth it, if I lose. So then they decided to have the match, and they have this match, and on her way to the ring, the camera is on Quinn's upper body. So she's wearing her regular Quinn McKay shirt, and you're thinking she's going to wrestle in this shirt, this button-up shirt she's got on, long sleeves too. And as she's on her way to the ring, she takes off her little tie, she unbuttons her shirt, and she got a little wrestling gear on underneath, and she's got some decent shoulders and arms on her. And you're like, whoa, where did this come from? So Angelina Love comes out there, and the match is essentially what it should be. The 20-year veteran Angelina Love is physically the better wrestler over Quinn McKay. She is doing things like she did the old Jeff Jarrett walking on Quinn McKay's back, and the old Jeff Jarrett head rub when Jeff used to slap the back of the head. Angelina Love was doing all that stuff, and most of the match was Angelina Love in control. And we had some fire up spots from Quinn McKay. Like, she bust out a pretty cool power slam that I thought was pretty dope. And then she got trapped in a Koji clutch, and they did it was kind of a spot that builded. It was like there was some building to it, because at first Quinn wasn't really selling it, and then she really started to sell it, and she was reaching for the ropes and trying to warrior crawl to the ropes, and it wasn't working. And eventually she finally got to the ropes, and then Angelina Love pulled her away and put her in the Koji clutch again, and then she started to fade. And then Angelina Love let it go because she wanted to toy with her. And then from there, we started, Quinn McKay started to fire him back up. You get the commentators, Maria is there, but I'm trying to ignore her because Maria sucks at commentating. She's annoying as shit. She feels like she has to commentate on every women's match. We don't need you, Maria. Anyway, Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni, being the baby faces, they're both cheering for Quinn to get up and, make a name for herself, get in there and win. And then, Quinn gets Angelina Love in the Tangerine Dream, which is her version of the Cobra Clutch, aka the $1 Million Dream. So she's got Angelina Love locked in this move, and Mandy Leon, the sidekick of Angelina Love, distracted Quinn McKay. Quinn McKay lets the move go. She chases Mandy Leon away. She turns around, gets super kicked. The what they call it, the Botox injection or whatever, and she gets pinned. So Quinn McKay lost her very first match. The rules were that if Angelina Love won, she gets a bye in the women's tournament. If Quinn McKay would have won, she would have gotten into the women's tournament. So technically, as of right now, Quinn McKay is not in the tournament. So what I'm guessing they're going to do is backdoor Quinn McKay in some other way, probably by taking somebody else out. And this match should be the rematch for the women's title. Because this is the only storyline they have, as far as I know, that goes into the women's tournament. So I think you got to go back to it. Like, I'm okay with you saying, hey, Quinn McKay's a rookie. She's going to take her first match, she's going to take an L. All right, that's fine, you know. But then you build up to her eventually beating Angelina Love. And either she needs to eliminate her in the tournament, or she needs to, hopefully we won't put the belt on Quinn. Maybe we'll just use Quinn McKay to boot Angelina Love from the tournament and make that match matter. And that would be dope. You know, that would be cool. So the other two matches on the show, the first match was the Briscoes versus EC3 and Flip Gordon. And this match was fun. You know, we had this segment here where EC3 is kind of becoming a babyface. So him and Flip are kind of at odds. In the pre-match promo, Flip Gordon says that he's beaten both Briscoes, and, you know, with a little assistance, he can beat them both. EC3 didn't really have much to say. The Briscoes, on their pre-match promo, Jay said that he respects EC3 now, but Mark was pretty mad that Flip kicked him in the juju beans, as he called it, and he was not happy about that. EC3 and Jay Briscoe respects each other, so they been they shook hands. Throughout this match, Ian Riccaboni just kept talking about, you know, EC3's abs and his shoulders, and he was just basically glowing and blushing over on this man's body. It was absolutely weird. Anyway, EC3 was not happy with Flip's cheating throughout the match, and Flip did a lot of cheating. The finish came with Jay Briscoe's chain hitting Mark Briscoe in the head. Flip Gordon hit Mark Briscoe in the head with Jay Briscoe's chain, and then he hit his finish to pin him. And EC3 didn't know that Flip Gordon had cheated, but he had been unhappy with Flip Gordon's cheating earlier. And so that's just kind of how it is. So now they're setting up Jay Briscoe versus Flip Gordon, because Jay Briscoe was barking at Flip as Flip ran away. So that was pretty good. That was pretty good match. It was the first match on the show. Second match on the show was but the promo was very good. Brian Johnson issued an open challenge, which was we'll talk about in a moment. So Brian Johnson says that, you know, people are getting judged by what side they on. Then he's talked about all the different factions and what the factions believe. And then he says that he's standing alone with a gas can and a handful of matches. Of course, he's listening to Eminem. Of course he would. And then he said that he's an inclusive guy. Everybody's talking about wrestling's for everybody. He said, yeah, wrestling is for everybody. I'm challenging any man, woman, or child. And, you know, it was very good. It was a very good promo. It was more to it, and it was pretty artsy. So I suggest everybody go watch it. Brian Johnson is becoming one of my favorite Ring of Honor guys. He's very plain, but he's very angry, miserable. So he's very good. So we wait for the open challenge to see who's going to respond, and it ends up being Danhausen. So Danhausen's music plays, and, you know, Brian Johnson is pretty disgusted. And he's yelling at Danhausen that he beat him already. And then Danhausen calls him a hard body super fool and said that he bought him a gift. And his gift was PCO. So PCO was the guy who was going to challenge Brian Johnson. Now, Brian Johnson was yelling, I don't want to wrestle a monster. I'll challenge any man, woman, or child, not monster. So, and Danhausen went to do commentary. So the match starts, and there's a point in the match in which PCO starts to, quote, malfunction. And that just means him go, and he ran and jumped through the barricade, and he quote unquote malfunctioned 2 or 3 times. And I was like, I can't believe this goofy shit has now infested Ring of Honor. Now we've got goofy magic shit in Ring of Honor now too. Fuck. It's everywhere. Look, I get it. Wrestling is kind of, they've been doing that for a long time, even going back to like the 70s, you know, with sea creatures and other kind of magic voodoo stuff. I get it. But it's in every promotion now that they're just doing bullshit. Anyway, PCO ends up winning the match with what they call the Destro Death Grip, which is a version of the Mandible Claw. And then they kind of joked that this is how Danhausen gets his teeth. That Danhausen gets the teeth from PCO ripping people's teeth out of their mouths. And I was like, okay. I'm not a fan of this Danhausen Brian Johnson thing continuing. Also, not really a fan of Brian Johnson losing. I don't see why he needed to lose. But maybe they're trying to keep him out of the way for a very specific reason. But the show itself was very solid. The first match was very good. The main event was very good. Well, it was quite good. I wouldn't say it was very good, but it was quite good. It was better than I expected it to be. And PCO versus Brian Johnson was okay. So there's a new faction coming up soon. They have a lot of factions of Ring of Honor now too. There's a new faction supposed to be debuting next week. But we'll see how that goes. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for your time, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.